Dandadan was, well, pretty crazy this week, and also Happy New Year! For one, I did not expect Iron Bull here to be a Japanese businessman, nor did I not expect Count Saint Germain to go to a singles mixer, yet here we are. This is uncharted territory, folks. Joking aside though, let's go ahead and break down every bit of this chapter of Dandadan. I challenge you to get this video to 1,000 likes and 25 subscribers to push us over the 4.4k sub mark. I am also a Gamersupps partner. Use code SeaTactics to get 10% off all orders site-wide, from GG tubs and caffeine free to sus snacks, which are actually very good. But yeah, well, you can stay away from the Gamersupps. There's like 1,800 milligrams of sodium, so it'll probably kill you. But for those not interested in Gamersupps but want to support the show, you can donate to my Patreon, links in the description. Okay, here is something that I was not expecting at all, but based on past chapters, I don't know why I didn't see this coming, as Seiko roundhouse kicks the Iron Bull in amazing fashion, by the way. Jesus, why is Seiko so awesome? Also, I saw your comment that told me to check to keep my... that. It's in check, man. It is in check. Thank you for looking out. So the Iron Bull's head was literally filled with gasoline because, Jesus, it literally exploded, or maybe that's due to the talisman or Seiko's highly effective roundhouse. Who knows, but holy crap, this was some amazing art. And we see, like, right after she kicked him, he turns into a businessman. Seriously, I had no clue this would happen, but maybe I should have, because this checks out. Koki has the powers of the Tontada. This must mean that even the Zhongshe could be like, I don't know, a gaggle of dudes or something. Either way, this guy is just so unimposing. In fact, he sort of looks like the main guy from Pluto. I wouldn't even be surprised if his design was somewhat inspired by Naoki Urasawa's works. I mean, it is Urasawa, so that's probably a given. Anyways, the man actually ends up asking for forgiveness, and much like Koki, a similar thing plays out here, which, well, took me by surprise if I'm being honest. And it's surprising because I just didn't expect someone who was filled with so much, well, we'll call it energy, to be a boring businessman. But maybe that's the joke. Businessmen are always working and are probably really frustrated people, so on the weekends they like to turn into Iron Bulls, oil up their abs, and attack random strangers. Turns out that this guy was contacted by someone, and much like Koki, he does not remember any features about him whatsoever. And what's even weirder is he can't even contact him because he just met him. This is peculiar. Why would this guy immediately just decide to go and attack a random woman he's never met, and also accept these strange powers? And be so good at it too. Like, this guy was breaking out some pretty incredible moves, and he knew how the powers functioned as well. And, well, as it turns out, it may not just be him, but an entire group of people, as this mystery person added them to a group chat like one of those scammers and just sent out targets. Now, this explains why the Zhongshe attacked too, because as he explains, there is a lot of overlap with these orders. That's really peculiar, isn't it? I think I have a bit of a theory here though, just based on everything I've said up until now. What if this mystery person, who very well could be Count Saint Germanium Fuzzpedal, can also wipe the memories of people too? It's just a tiny theory, but I do find it interesting that he knew how to use his powers that quickly. But I mean, who knows? Maybe he didn't get the powers from that person. Maybe he just had them all along. It's not totally clear just where his powers came from, at least I think. But he pulls out from his suit pocket, by the way, nice suit, 3 blades. Seeing this, Seiko immediately questions why he'd have something like this, and 3 copies of it to boot. Well, a little bit of a history lesson here, which actually I'm not even sure if this is based on even folklore, because I couldn't find any information on this anywhere. All I got was video games. But Granny Ayase says that this blade is in fact called the Asura, and this blade is more like a curse if anything, honestly. Whoever wields it will continue to kill others until their life runs out. That doesn't seem too bad, probably? Well, turns out, well, the sword can also take on the power of the yokai, and in turn is able to cut down any master swords. Due to its danger, a group of Magi had to seal it away, but it wasn't until 5 years ago that someone stole it, and from that blade, the Kozuka were distributed, which is those little blades. And just like Koki, the order was simple. Use these blades to gather up all of the yokai. Sort of like Pokemon, but instead of I choose you, it's more like yield or I will kill you. Also, it seems that, after all, the simple explanation was right the entire time, which is very rare for Dandadan. At the very least, while it is still a mystery technically, Count Saint Germanium Fuzzpedal has to be the wielder of this Asura. Why? Because, ladies and gentlemen, he literally pulls out a Kozuki from his blade, which looks pretty much exactly like the Asura, which is now a direct connection because of the now aforementioned this chapter, the Asura blade. This was very obvious for a lot of viewers, so congrats, you are smarter than I, the SeaTactics. Now, here is something interesting. It turns out that whoever gathers the most will have whatever wish they want come true. And by the way, I love Payase's reaction, calling the man a child for wanting something so stupid to attack people over, which is true. Wishes like that are kind of dumb to attack people over, especially when you could just, I don't know, work towards your goals and dreams. And I immediately feel bad because he reveals that his wife is sick and only has a year left to live. So to protect her and to save her life, he is essentially going around and he's beating people up. And his wife, by the way, totes adorbs. She's just super awesome. She noticed that he always had trouble with expressing himself to women and would panic. So eventually, this guy, he just kind of gave up on the chance of ever meeting a nice woman and settling down. And keep in mind, he tried for 40 years to do this, so he's not some pathetic loser or anything. He's just genuinely tried and he couldn't do it. It happens. But as I say, whether you like it or not, you're just gonna have people show up in your life, and that's what happened to him. Deku's mom shows up, tired of Deku's shit, I guess, and just loves the dude, pretty much. Straight up just shows up, sticks around, and waits until he is able to express himself to her. This has got to be the most romantic thing I ever did see, and I cannot lie, it's also really cute. I kind of want to tear up. This guy literally was a real one out there trying his hardest for 4 decades, and suddenly this cute lady shows up and she's smart, she understands him, and decides to be patient with him. And so, in essence, he feels that she saved him, and can you argue otherwise? She saved him from loneliness and showed him the love and respect he has been working so hard to get. And it worked. His efforts were not in vain. So, of course, he would go around in his underwear beating up senior citizens. He literally is indebted to her for saving his life from a tortuous existence of loneliness. So, even if the chances are slim, he'll do it, no matter what it takes. That's his waifu, people. And Seiko, hearing this, calls him numbnuts, which, by the way, it's a funny thing in this chapter. Seiko just keeps insulting everyone, just even after that horrible backstory. So he reveals how he came into contact with the orchestrator. Someone at work told him that if he did a certain task, it would help his wife. So he called him and was in contact with him. And just like Koki, he doesn't remember a single feature. But here is even more concrete evidence that is likely Count Saint Germain. The next panel is literally Count Saint Germain. That being said, it's Count Saint Germain agreeing to a singles mixer, so I mean, who the hell knows what is going to happen next? It would be really funny if like Seiko went undercover or shows up, or hey, he legit falls in love with someone and we have a crazy Count Saint Germain romance subplot. That would be crazy. And speaking of crazy, we finally get Masamichi, aka Bossamichi, back in the plot. He's asking questions about what went down in the cafe, and he sees the perps matching the description given to him. So while Seiko and the others discuss their next moves, Masamichi, Bossamichi, comes to ask questions only for them to disappear right in front of them. That was a super crazy ending to this chapter, honestly, but I can't help but notice something. Seiko says that she needs to tidy up the situation with Momo first, so maybe next chapter is Momo finally returning to her regular size. I'd say it's pretty likely, only because we have this entire plot point from these chapters with the Seiko stuff that moves the story forward quite a bit. So the question is, what's in the bag? What's in Seiko's bag? It would make sense she would fight so hard for it now that we know Seiko's plans are to finish up with her granddaughter, which I hope is Momo turning back to normal size. We'll just have to see though. So far, I gotta say, this arc of Dandadan is like complicated, man. There are so many moving parts, it really is hard to keep track of at times, but I really like it. We now have Koki, Masamichi, Bossamichi, this business guy, Seiko, and the new duo that helped her, Count Saint Germain, and I can't even begin to list the rest of them because I don't want this video to be 50 minutes. But one thing is for sure, I now join the rest of the viewers here in believing the main culprit to be Count Saint Germain. If I'm proven wrong now, well, then that means I can blame it on you, James. That's right, James. I'm gonna blame it on you. Hey, I challenge you to get this video to 1,000 likes and 25 subs. Can we do it? I don't know, but it's the last chapter of the year, so maybe. As well, check out Gamersupps. Use my partner code or donate through Patreon if you'd like. Thanks for watching. Happy New Year's, y'all.